Hey, what's up, y'all? Oh, I just got in from theater. Yeah, am I sitting on my goddamn M&Ms? I think I'm sitting on my M&Ms. So anyway, just got back from the theater, and let's talk some Bad Boys Ride or Die. So the plot is this. Captain Howard, who was killed in the previous movie, was chasing down a lead on the cartel before he was killed, and he left a posthumous message for Mike and Marcus to finish the job. Mike's son has valuable intel, but the cartel are trying to kill him to cover their tracks, so Mike and Marcus have to get him out of prison so they can get that intel. Meanwhile, Marcus has a near-death experience causing him to behave as if he's invincible, while Mike, who has gotten married, deals with an onset of panic attacks that causes him to lose focus in key moments. So I'm just gonna tell y'all right off the bat, I loved this movie. I thought it was fantastic. It was great. This is probably the best Bad Boys movie since the first one. I really loved Bad Boys 2. Like, I thought, you know, I would go back and forth between like Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2 as like my favorite Bad Boys movie. But like now, this movie is in the mix. It's, you know, I might have to watch it again, and I definitely want to watch it again, but I have to like mull on this because like I walked out of the theater thinking like this is the second best Bad Boys movie. Like that was good. You're not going to a Bad Boys movie for the plot. I'm just throwing that out there. You have not ever gone to a Bad Boys movie for the plot. The first one was probably the best plot that they had, and it wasn't even that good. The plot for that film wasn't the best, but you didn't go there for that. You went for Will Smith and you went for Martin Lawrence, and both of these guys, they haven't lost a step, especially Martin. I know Martin's a little on the chubby side. I know y'all give him a little flack for that, but Martin is Martin in this movie. He is hilarious. The entire movie is really funny, actually. Like, I had a ball with this. This film reminded me of what it means to go to the theater and just have fun. And I think that's something that we've lost as an audience when, you know, you go on YouTube and you listen to all these critics that will give you a 3-hour long video breaking down each scene of a film. And I think that's not really conducive to film as an art form, because film is one of those art forms where it's like entertainment as well. You know what I mean? Like, you go to the movies to be entertained. I think the audience generally goes to the theater to be entertained. And, you know, I had this talk about Rotten Tomatoes. I've said this before, but I think the critic score is about, you know, blocking and composition, cinematography and plot, writing, you know, dialogue. I think that's what the critic score is for, but the audience's score is, did I enjoy this thing? And that's where I think this movie will have its highest score. I think the audience will adore this film. This film was really good on that level. I was thoroughly entertained. My point is that you're not going to care about the plot in this movie, and like, whoever does. It's a buddy cop film where a comedian and the Fresh Prince are together, and they're going through like these hijinks, and they're talking shit to each other, and they're just having a really good time. You could tell these guys are on set just having a ball. Like, I don't understand how they got through filming this, because I'd have been laughing my ass off every single time Martin opened his mouth. That dude is one of the goats. The action in this movie is like top fucking tier. It's really good. Like, they had some scenes toward the end that you're just like, how did you do that? Like, there's a first person shooter scene at the very end, and that was amazing. I thought it looked great. Like, the whole film as a whole though looked really pretty. And what I mean by pretty is, obviously they're in Miami, and Miami's a glitzy, kind of fancy, you know, beautiful town or whatever. But this movie makes Miami look amazing, bro. Like, I gotta go there. You know what I mean? Like, that feeling that you got when you're playing like Grand Theft Auto Vice City, you know, when you first played that game and you were like, wow, is this what Miami's like? That's the kind of vibe you get here. Like they go to a strip club and it looks just, it's so pretty. Maybe the movie might suffer from that. It's like it's overproduced. Everything is saturated. Like the colors are really saturated. And you know, if you care about that kind of stuff, then that might be a negative to you, like how pretty everything is. But I like that kind of stuff. Like I love vibrant colors. You know, whenever I'm making Everything Wrong With video, and if I can do it for a thumbnail, I try to make the thumbnail as colorful as I can, because I love, you know, glitzy, beautiful, bright, vibrant colors. And that's this film. This whole film looks like that. It's crazy, like when you see it. And I think that's a stark difference from the first and even kind of the second film. The second film was a little saturated too, but this film is saturated to the point that it doesn't look like it belongs in the same series. And maybe that's a negative. Maybe that's something that people would pick up on and go, this movie kind of doesn't look like the other movies. You know what I mean? Like the third one was kind of saturated too, but I feel like the second one had the most over sharpening to the, like, it's hard to describe until you see the first film and then the second film together, and then you'll see, oh, there's like a difference in the way, in the cameras that were used, and in the, if this one was on film, this one is not on film. You know, you see that kind of stark difference, and this movie is digital. But you know, I love the dynamic between Martin and Will, and I'm gonna call them Martin and Will, because, you know, calling them Marcus and Mike, it's just weird for me, because I've known these guys my entire life. You know, I grew up with The Fresh Prince. I grew up with The Martin Show. These are two of my all-time favorite TV shows, the best sitcoms ever. So I know them as Martin and I know them as Will, so I'm gonna call them that. But the dynamic between these two guys, they're like brothers. They're family, man. Like you could tell these guys love each other, that they have such great chemistry, and that just shines in this film. And I promise you, the scenes with these two together, you're going to have such a good time. They are so funny. I found this film to be so much better than the previous film. The previous film, which I thought was okay, this one is so much better. It's like night and day. But again, I want to like preface this with the plot is relatively thin. It's not as thin as the previous film, but it's relatively thin, okay? But again, you're not going for that. Just keep that in mind. That's not what they were going for with this. The plot was like window dressing for Mike and Martin to get together and do funny shit and have incredible action sequences. So just keep that here, okay? Keep it here. And you guys remember this guy from Bad Boys 2?
Who the fuck are you?
I'm Mr. Burnett. I'm Reggie.
How old are you?
I'm 15, Mr. Burnett.
Motherfucker, you look 30.
This motherfucker has an incredible scene. Like, my theater cheered. And, you know, I went to an early access fan screening, so maybe my theater was full of enthusiasts, but Reggie's scene was insane, and it got an insane reaction. I remember when Captain America picked up Mjolnir in Endgame, how my theater just went wild. This was not like that big, but it was close. I'm like, wow, like y'all love this nigga Reggie. And don't get it twisted, that scene is phenomenal. So if you're going, go for Reggie, which sounds weird to say. And you know, that speaks to the rest of the cast. I thought the rest of the cast did a really good job. Like, this movie's good. Like, I went in expecting this to be like the third one. It's like, no, this is a good, I almost said motherfucking, this is a good fucking movie, okay? This movie's good. If you're a person that really cares about a plot in a movie, you'll probably say that's a negative, but this film is entertaining, man. Like, I can't say too many good things about it. I'm really hyped. I want to go watch it again. I'm going to go watch it again because I want to see what like a normal crowd is going to be like. You know what I mean? Like on a Friday or a Saturday. I'm seeing this, what's today? Today is Wednesday. So I had such a good time. The crowd was into it. I was sitting next to some Asian dudes that were having a ball. And I was just like, man, this movie's good. Because like I didn't get this feeling when I watched the third one. You know what I mean? I thought it was fine, but it's like this one was really good. This was fun. You know what? If I think about it, I can give you a negative. Okay. So as I explained in the synopsis, Marcus has something of a near-death experience. and it causes him to like act out. And this experience kind of flips the dynamic between Marcus and Mike. Like, Mike is normally the guy that is like brash and he's just out there having fun, killing motherfuckers. And then Marcus is like the family guy. You know what I mean? He's like worried about his own life. He's worried about getting back to his family, and, you know, he doesn't want to die out there in the streets. But this movie kind of flips that dynamic where Mike now has the panic attacks, and he's like thinking about his family now, because Mike winds up getting married in this film. It's not really a spoiler. It's at the very beginning of the film, like the very beginning. So he's like, he has something to lose now. You know what I mean? Whereas he didn't have that previously. Like when you look at the dynamic between Marcus and Mike Lowry, his biggest fear was losing his partner. Whereas now it's losing his life partner that makes him have these panic attacks. And Marcus is like, you know, I almost died. So like now I have a new lease on life. You know what I mean? So like, I get that. But when you watch the film, they kind of forget that he's had this near-death experience. And there's a reason he has it. I won't spoil it. So they just kind of forget the reason why he had this. You know what I mean? Oh, I think I just spoiled it. I'll bleep that out in post. But like, they forget the reason for his near-death experience. And that's one thing that maybe like, if you care, you'll pick up on that. But like, I was having too much fun watching this film that I didn't really care about it too much, but that could be a negative to some. So just to wrap this up, I think you guys know what my score is going to be. I had a blast with this film. Again, the plot's going to be thin for some people. They forget about Marcus's issue, and the film is like really, really oversaturated and pretty, which I don't think is a negative, but some people might. But everything else is good, man. The buddy cop is good. You know, the extra actors are really good. There's some hilarious cameos in this film. Like, holy shit, I did not expect to see certain people pop up in this, and they're great. Reggie has a phenomenal scene, probably the second best scene in the film. You know, everything's good. I had a ball. So I'm gonna give this movie an A. Yes, a Bad Boys film is receiving an A from me. And I'm kind of hard on these films. Like, I wouldn't give the second one an A, and I really like that. The third one, obviously, I didn't give an A. I'm giving an A to this film. This film reminded me a lot of Bad Boys 2 in a way. There's like a dynamic in Bad Boys 2 that was different from Bad Boys 1 that I feel like this film picks up on, whereas the third one kind of didn't pick that up for me. You know, they were dealing with the young new guys and their tech, whereas this one, they embrace all of that and they're just working together as a team, and it's just really entertaining. And man, Reba even makes a musical cameo, and it's hilarious. So if you care about Reba, there you go. Watch it for that. Anyway, this has been your friendly neighborhood Birdman, and I'm gonna go get me another ticket. See y'all later.